Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Jake. I am the Programs Fellow for Hear Your Song. And I have the honor and privilege of being joined by two incredible musicians, incredible Hear Your Song volunteers. And I will turn it over to them to introduce themselves. Sophia, why don't we start with you? Why don't you say your name, kind of how long you've been involved with Hear Your Song, what instruments you play, and maybe a fun fact about you that you want to share with our audience.
Oh boy. Okay, well, I can start with the first things. My name is Sofía Campoamor, and I am a singer and a songwriter and composer. Voice is my primary instrument, but I also play a little piano, guitar, and most importantly, ukulele, I would say. And I've been involved with Hear Your Song since my first year of college. So that was 6 years ago now. I started out as a composer with the group, so I would just take on the lyrics or ideas that would be brought out of the sessions. Apologies, I live on a busy avenue over here. But I started out composing, and then a couple times I did some sessions when we would go into the hospital at Yale and just do some one-off sessions. And then most recently I had a really great time working with the kids at Camp Amerikids and doing some longer songwriting classes and composing sessions where kids were working on their music as well as their lyric ideas. So, and I live in New York. I write songs. That's me.
Amazing. Before I get to you, Alice, very quickly, for those of you who are joining us who are new to Hear Your Song, Hear Your Song is a nonprofit that empowers children and teens with serious illnesses, health needs through collaborative songwriting. And we, Alice and Sophia, are two Hear Your Song volunteers who have written music, worked with kids, and so we're here to talk today about their experiences and also to write some music together live, which will be really, really cool. So, Alice, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Alice Ping. I am a classically trained violist based in Los Angeles, and I'm kind of a recent Hear Your Song volunteer. I don't want to say it's already been a year, but it might be a year at this point. I have no concept of time, but I think we connected through Instagram, actually, and I've been doing a couple of songwriting sessions here and there every couple of months, and it's been a really wonderful experience. I fake my way through piano and guitar and also sing as well and do a little songwriting of my own. So this has been a really fun way for me to kind of exercise those muscles that I don't get to do so much in my classical career. And it's been a really fun experience. Fun fact, not so fun, maybe fun, but I know Sophia and I can connect on this, and that we both have two autoimmune diseases. We each have autoimmune diseases. And I have a disease called ulcerative colitis, which is a form of IBD. And my most recent collaborations have happened through the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation Camp Oasis program, which is a summer program for children and teens who live with IBD, just like we do. So that was a really fun experience, being able to connect with kids that on common ground, that we both sort of share mutual experiences, and then getting to work with them and create songs with them has been really fun, and I'm enjoying the process.
Yeah. Thank you both so much for sharing. Alice, I want to sort of continue on this thread of you working with Camp Oasis, and we're so grateful that we connected with Camp Oasis through you, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about your experience working with those kids this summer and kind of what it was like as, you know, a musician with a chronic illness, that you can relate to the kids. Sort of why was it important to you to have that opportunity, and how do you think it was important for the kids to be able to see someone they could relate to leading that songwriting session?
Sure. So I should preface this by saying the goal of Hear Your Song is not, at least in my experience, is not to try and help kids through their tough times and to talk about their illnesses. Most of the time, I don't know what diseases these kids have. And that's unless they choose to share that information with me. And so going into Camp Oasis, I knew what I was getting into, in that I knew all of these kids and I had shared mutual experiences with these diseases. And so that was a really kind of fun perspective to explore, because I felt instantly a little bit more connected to them. And I personally offered up that information right off the bat to try and give them a little bit of a sense of that I got it, and that I understood maybe what they have gone through a little bit. So that was like a deeper sort of level to it. In my experience with Hear Your Song, I've only worked virtually. So I've never done any in-person songwriting sessions, which I think is different than Sophia's experience. And typically we do one-on-one sessions with kids, and they can sign up for one songwriting session, or we can do multiple sessions and keep developing ideas of different songs together. And in Camp Oasis, we were doing group songwriting sessions. So that was a whole sort of new thing to explore. I've done that in person, but doing it virtually was a little bit challenging, but really fun. And through that have now since connected with kids from Camp Oasis, and we've been able to hold individual songwriting sessions with those kids that wanted to continue their work that they did during the summer. I don't know if that answered your question, but
Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, for those of new friends who are joining, you can check out those Camp Oasis songs. Some of them we've already released on our Instagram. You can follow us at Hear Your Song HYS. We also have our YouTube channel. You can just search Hear Your Song, and you can check out all the amazing songs that we've been working on this summer. Sophia, I want to turn it over to you, since you had very different experience than Alice working with Hear Your Song this summer, when we went to Camp Amerikids, which was a 1-week in-person camp serving kids with sickle cell and HIV. And this was your first kind of experience leading songwriting sessions, right, with Hear Your Song. Do you want to talk a little bit about like what that experience was like for you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think my first experience leading, being the lead on those sessions, we did both group sessions, we did some in small groups, some individual, and it was just really cool to see that there are a lot of ways into songwriting for kids. And so some people are going to be more comfortable in that big group. Some people are going to be more comfortable in their, with 1 or 2 friends, where maybe one of their friends is really into it and they don't think of themselves that way, but because they get excited about their friends' ideas, that can start sort of bring them in. And then there's some people who it's a great tool to kind of form a one-on-one connection and maybe talk about what they're interested in, what they're excited about, or what's been difficult for them recently. It's sort of a nice just thing to hold between the two of you to form that kind of a relationship. If you're both working on this song or helping them write a song, it's a nice way to be connecting with a little bit of sort of like a buffer, but in a positive way between the two of you, to have this music to be connecting over. Yeah, and I definitely learned a lot. I mean, I write a lot on my own, but I think whenever I write with others, whether that's kids or other people my age, whenever you make music with other people, you learn a lot more about how to make music better and what you like about that. So yeah, and thinking also what you were saying, Alice, about kind of Hear Your Song's approach to working with kids who are managing a chronic illness. That was very much, I think, the approach that Camp Amerikids and specifically also took to serving those kids. And so the idea there was really, this is a place where you can be yourself, you can explore all of your interests, and we know this about you and we're ready to support you and what you need specifically because of like what your body needs, but we're here to make sure that you get to do what it is that you're interested in, whether that means engaging with that overtly or not.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you both for sharing your experiences. I'd love to now ask both of you to share the songs that you're working on right now. Alice, you're working on Holland's song, right?
Yes, and it is very much a work in progress. So I don't know how much I have to share, but I can certainly describe my process and explain what I'm kind of doing. Yeah, so Holland is this is sort of an interesting thing because I think sometimes depending on the kid, depending on the situation with Hear Your Song, you can see the process through from start to finish where you can be in the sessions and help these kids express themselves into lyrics and help them write a song, which they very much are doing on their own, by the way, but write a song with them. And then choose to take on the role of a composer and, flush out the music and instrumentate everything and then potentially pass that off to other people, but, start to finish. Or you can pick up from somebody else's collaborative songwriting experience and be the composer on it. Or if a specific kid requests a certain instrument, for example, violin or viola, I have recorded some tracks on strings for songs. And so the cool thing about Hear Your Song is that you don't have to necessarily be involved in every aspect of it if you don't want to, or you can be, which is very cool. So in this case, Holland, who is a Camp Oasis kid, wrote this song in a group session that I was not a part of. So the only thing I know about her is that she wrote this song at Camp Oasis. She has IBD, and she wants this song in the style of an Olivia Rodrigo-esque composition with piano, harp, ukulele. So Sophia, we could get you on there because I can't play ukulele.
Yeah.
Or honestly, I can't play any of the instruments. But so that was kind of what I was going off of. So I think it's fun when we lead these sessions. We do make a point of asking the kids, okay, we've got like some great lyrics down. Now, what do you want this to sound like? Do you want it to sound like a specific artist, or do you want it to sound happy, sad? What instruments do you want? And so in this case, I had like a pretty specific thing to draw from. So for me, I didn't want to, I did some like study, not score study, which is what I would do if I had to learn a piece, but I did like some studying of Olivia Rodrigo music, and got the sense that I wanted this to be kind of a driver's license vibe with like a sparse piano texture in the beginning and kind of, Holland's lyrics, she's describing her experience of being in the hospital for a month when she was 2 years old and what it was like having people come and visit her and, getting poked and having the doctor miss the vein, which is a huge bummer because I've had that happen and it sucks. So she's describing all of that. And then when she gets to the chorus, she says, face over fear when you're always feeling scared. Take a deep breath and everything will be all right. And so I felt like she's so nailed it on, like hit the nail on the head with her concept of wanting it to be Olivia Rodrigo-esque, because the beginning is kind of like sad and reflecting on this thing that was painful physically and emotionally. And then we get to this chorus and it's like, but we got this. So like have a whole lot to play, but I started with that sort of in my head, and then I wanted to have the Olivia Rodrigo kind of breathy solo vocal piano in the beginning. So I guess my approach to this, because she gave me such specific direction, was just getting the style down before I actually figured out composing the melody and the chords. That makes sense. So I'm, again, still very much in the process. If Sophia has something more concrete to share, please share, because my skills as a pianist are really terrible.
Yeah. So Sophia, do you want to share what you have to Alice? That's so cool to hear your time of the process.
Yeah, I can share a little bit. So I was sort of what Alice was saying about how we come into this process at a lot of different stages. I'm also working with lyrics from a child who I was not working with, but I believe was also at Camp Oasis. So Team IBD. I'm the crow side of Team IBD here.
Yeah, we've got both sides of it.
Whole picture. But her song is actually about car rides, which was funny for me because I am working on a collection of songs right now about driving in cars. So I felt, even though I hadn't worked on that session, it's very much where my head is at. So that was cool to get those lyrics. And I also, oh, sorry, what was that, Jake?
It was just meant to be. It was just really
totally meant to be. I also was instructed to find those Olivia Rodrigo vibes, but in this case, more of the deja vu specific one.
Okay.
So I was trying to kind of listen to the sounds in deja vu. I think when I work with text, I usually probably play it on piano or guitar first. So I think I tried this once on guitar. I tried it on piano. But at this stage, what I'm working on, and the reason I haven't sent it to Jake yet, is that I'm trying to actually use not instruments, but more like sounds. So I found in deja vu, it's mostly kind of percussion and then bells. I guess bells are also kind of percussion. And so I'm still trying to find like the right electronic sounds that I like to really carry that forward. And I think I'm missing a little bit of in the second verse of Deja Vu, the percussion really kind of fills out and stands in the forefront. And I think I need to write something that kind of, takes up that space a little bit more. But I can play you what I have of Livy's song, and then maybe we can think a little bit about what it needs, or we can try some ukulele parts for your song, whatever. Yeah. Good. But I also, I was trying to find, those vocals, and then she does a lot of vocal harmonies that kind of come in and out. So she really accentuates different lyrics by having the harmony in or just having the unison vocal or the solo vocal. So I was playing a little with that too, but we'll see. I'll try and, here's my laptop. I can just kind of, it might be horrible, but I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Long car rides through the town. These are the words. We will see oceans, waterfalls, and thunderstorms. Just me and my friends in this SUV, driving along, playing our favorite songs. Driving along on this long car ride, I guess the sky has cleared up now. 'Cause I can't see a single cloud around. We have seen so many things from all the highways and along this trail. Driving along this long car ride, all the playlists that we have listened to on our phones. One of my friends says that we have seen so many homes. I think we're almost to the sunny beach hotel. Driving along this long car ride. So that's what I've got.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that was amazing. Amazing. Oh my gosh. Wow, that was awesome. That was really exciting to hear. I think perfectly captures the essence of the lyrics.
So I'm struggling a little because it was supposed to be like both calm and upbeat, and I feel like there's a little momentum that I'm not quite keying into yet. I'm thinking about, I think I want a little more energy from that bridge. We've seen so many things, like, I don't know, she's saying like we're almost to the sunny beach hotel. I want a little more momentum from something, but yeah.
I feel like you should like sample car noises.
Oh, that's great.
And like get car sounds in there.
Yeah.
Like have like a honk and like
yes.
as your percussion.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Is the bridge after you have that big like crescendo, like whatever that cymbal roll was or something like that?
Yeah, kind of. That's what also is like, because the song is like pretty compact. Yeah, trying to kind of build that energy quickly and then yeah.
Did she specify instrumentation at all, or did she just say Olivia Rodrigo?
She said a bit of percussion. That's all.
A bit of percussion. Okay.
Yeah. I was just trying to go with what
you went. Yeah, it was great. You took those two instructions perfectly.
Yeah. This made me think of a question that I would ask both of you is when you get that, when you get those very specific musical requests from the kid versus maybe more general musical requests, which one is one easier or harder as a songwriter? Like when you get the music, do you, or the lyrics, do you prefer those like rigid, restrictions? I don't want to say rigid, but do you prefer the specific specifications, or is it more freeing sometimes to get a kid who's like, oh, I just wanted to generally sound like this?
Um, I well, I think it depends, which is like not a good answer, but I think it depends. But I also feel like the quote unquote rigid or more detailed um, expectations, I think I might prefer that just because it feels like when we're writing these songs, we're not writing them, they're not our songs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so we're writing a song that is somebody else's that they've created. And so having those clear guidelines, I feel like makes it even that much more them and their song.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hear your song, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but that being said, having some like creative license is always kind of fun. And but I feel like even within the constraints of more specific requests, there's still plenty of freedom. I feel like as an artist to sort of take your own liberties. I don't know, Sophia, you have I think more experience than I do in this category, but your feelings on that?
Yeah, no, I think that yeah, definitely both can be fun. It's nice. I think it was nice to spend the time with those longer sessions that we did over this summer. That felt like kind of a new phase to me of getting to tease out more of those specifics from kids. And exactly what you're saying about thinking of them not only as songwriters or as offering kind of subject matter or processing their experiences, but also really working with music and getting to
Mm-hmm.
express musical preferences, which is a little bit more abstract maybe, but really exciting. Um, since that,
Especially if they're like not musicians too, having them like maybe use that part of their brain and be like, oh, what instrument do I want, as
yeah,
opposed to, you know.
yeah, or just getting to make choices, I think, and getting
Yeah.
agency over those choices is really cool to see. So it's always nice, I think, to be able to participate in those conversations with kids. When I'm just
Mm-hmm.
receiving something, it's fun both ways, right? Like it's fun to, it also reminds you that people experience music in a lot of different ways. That for some kids, saying "Deja Vu" the song is what I want it to sound like. That's their kind of that's how they talk comparatively about songs, and that's what music kind of means to them. Whereas for another kid, specifying a melody, like I've had some where I've
Mm.
was given just a melody with no instrument instructions, and so then it was more a task of harmonizing or of orchestrating, and that's cool too because for some kids, like the melody is what matters, or for some it's the instruments. Like, and we all
Right.
experience music. You know, for me, like the words are going to be really important always, but for some people they don't really listen to music for the words, and that's totally fine. So yeah, it's all fun. And one of the things that's fun about being a Hear Your Song volunteer and a musician is that it makes you practice working on songs from a lot of different
Sure.
levels with your brain.
Yeah.
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 I
Yeah,
think I have like a 10.
no, I was gonna
Oh,
ask.
sorry. My
Instagram, like let's one person talk. I was gonna
I
ask
know.
Alice, especially as a violist, how that goes for you.
Well, I was just thinking while you were talking that so many, we're working with a specific type of kid, and that these children have been diagnosed with things a lot of time that are uncurable and that we don't have a lot of control over.
Yeah.
And so giving them the opportunity through Hear Your Song to create something that they can have as much control over as they want, and they can specify these things, is just, I don't know. I think I was fortunate enough to not be diagnosed as a child. Like I can't imagine going through it because it's really hard as an adult. So these kids are truly such inspiration to me. But having some agency and some semblance of control over something in your day is really powerful sometimes. And I imagine that a lot of these kids don't have that. So I just think giving them the opportunity to be as specific as they want in these compositions is really empowering and really, really fun to watch, because sometimes they don't even realize, like, wait, I can pick this and I can do another session if I want to. I can make this a longer song and I can sing on it. I've recorded strings on songs for Hear Your Song with the songwriter singing their part as well, and that's a whole other level of incredible beauty. So it's just really fun to be a part of this organization.
Yeah, Alice, I love what you said about, how the experience of Hear Your Song gives kids control and choice. And I wanted to ask you both, in your own kind of musical journeys, you both are musicians and create music, and kind of having to deal with illness as adults. What role does music play in giving you control and choice, and kind of, similar to how our kids get choice? I'm sure it works the same with you both in your careers.
Yeah. Music for me, both before I was aware that I was dealing with chronic illness and since then, it's just a kind of an environment where I can feel comfortable, and I think it mostly helps me manage like the anxiety part of dealing with medical encounters. And so yeah, just having like things to listen to be calm, or I know I've had like I've had to do like a couple of MRIs, for example, where you have to like hold your breath for a long time and there's all these sort of scary sounds. And so if I'm a composer, then I can like write a little 10-second song with the sounds and be less upset that I'm in a small tube.
That is so great.
That's like a very concrete version of that. More generally, just music is a thing that can make you calm and help you deal with stuff, whether it's an illness or whatever other difficult thing in your week.
That's I know that's not cool, but that's so cool. I mean, MRIs suck, so making them even just like slightly better is very neat. I feel like you could like take those clicking sounds and turn it into a percussive track. Yeah, it's sort of interesting because for me personally, especially with my IBD, a significant trigger for me is stress, and having lived my life in the classical music world at a pretty high level, I would say, it's a very stressful environment. And so I do sometimes struggle with separating those two things and not associating. I guess I should kind of clarify and say that as a professional musician, I don't always necessarily turn to that specific element of it as a way of coping, because sometimes that is what triggers things. But what's fun is getting to do something like this with Hear Your Song, or just something that's still music related, but not what I do for a living, which is classical music. And I find that has been a better vehicle for me to, or a better outlet, I guess, to explore and get some of that, I don't know, resentment out, I guess. I think it's easy to feel like, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to go through this? This sucks. And in music, that's not what I do for my job, is a really great way of doing that. And I love being able, like, in Holland's song, I keep pointing over here because I have it written down. But in Holland's song, everything she says in here, I relate to, which is, I think, a really cool thing. Because not all Hear Your Song volunteers have illness or disease or anything. It's just some of us do, as in life. And so getting to see her experience as a young little girl in the hospital and being like, okay, I've been in the hospital. I've had veins missed. I've had family here. I've had people staring at me and tests being run. And I get to connect with her on that kind of a level. And this just like took a whole turn of me rambling, but I'm excited to be able to kind of work through maybe some of my own struggles with her separately together all at once. And I'm just, yeah, I'm excited to see what comes out of this.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you both for sharing that. I have sort of a changing gears a bit. What if you were both 10 years old and writing, you had a Hear Your Song session coming up, what do you think you would have written about when you were 10 years old if you had the opportunity to write with Hear Your Song?
So I'm such a serious person, and so I was such a serious child. Again, like this like classical music, like I took everything very seriously. So I worry that 10-year-old Alice would be very concerned with like form and execution and rhyming and like doing all of it correctly as opposed to like content. Which is what's so fun about these, because these kids are so creative. They're writing about things that I would like never ever even think of ever. But I probably would have written a song about like cooking or something. So I really like food. I was in cooking camps. So maybe I would have written about food. I don't know. Maybe noodles. I could have come up with noodles.
There you go.
Noodles is a popular one.
It's a good one.
Yeah. When I was 10, I think I also took myself seriously, but in kind of a different way of like, I would have been like, yes, I have to say something, not just like, you know, what I do with my day, but
it'd have to mean something.
To mean something.
Yeah.
When I was 10 was actually about when I started writing songs, and I started writing for school projects. So I wrote this song that was supposed to be in a medieval style because we were studying the medieval times, and it was about hope. So it was like this is what hope means. I think hope times or something.
Amazing. Yeah, that's so interesting. I you know, such an interesting.
What about you?
Yeah.
Song about if you were 10.
Me? Oh, I'm in the hot seat. I don't know, SpongeBob or something. I probably would have written about, I don't know. I think I probably started writing my own songs when I was 10 years old, just about whatever, what are you, like in 5th grade when you're 10 years old? Whatever a 5th grader silly drama has to deal with.
Yeah, it feels so deep and so real at the time, you know?
Yeah, but yeah, no, it does feel so real at the time, and I probably would have.
Heartbreak at 10 is just, oh.
They hurt. They hurt. Thank you both so much for joining us today and for sharing your experiences. This has been so wonderful. For those of you who have just joined recently, we're Hear Your Song. Feel free to follow us on Instagram for updates and our latest music. And I want to give you both the opportunity, as we're about to finish, to share maybe some projects that you're working on upcoming, that you want, you know, our listeners to know about, or exciting things you're working on.
Cool. Well, I'm writing some songs about cars, as I said. They're written, it's the part of the phase when I do book some recording time and find the players and write the arrangements. So what I would like to say about that is, if you follow me on Instagram, you can probably hear them at a live show sooner, or a little clip, or when they are ready to be released, you will know. And if you want to listen to the music that I have already released about things other than cars, then you can also find that on my Instagram.
Fantastic. Sophia, listen to her EP. What's your EP called? That you just
called Quarter Life.
Quarter Life. Yes, go listen to Quarter Life. It's phenomenal.
Well, I can't say that I have any specific projects coming up. I have some concerts coming up, which are on my my website, aliceping.com. And I also have a YouTube channel. I've been a little lax on my YouTube channel lately. I need to get back on it. So maybe if some of you follow it, I will have motivation. But it's called Chronically Musical. And I make videos about chronic illness and about professional music stuff and try and tie them together because it's very much my reality. And like to openly discuss very taboo topics that are relating to inflammatory bowel disease. And I think that's actually kind of how Hear Your Song, I kind of connected with you guys because I'm very open about it. So you can check that out and follow me on Instagram. I post random funny videos sometimes. And yeah. And Holland's song will be out soon.
Yes, yes. Be on the lookout for Holland's song and Libby's song. Amazing. Well, thank you both again so much. It is such a privilege to get to talk to you both. You're both so incredible working with kids and as musicians, and it's just Hear Your Song is so grateful for all that you've done. And if you want to learn more about Hear Your Song and learn how you can support, you can go to our website at hearyoursong.org. And yeah, do you either of you have any last words of inspiration or something that about Hear Your Song that stuck with you the most since working?
It's great. I know that's not great.
It's really fun.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it speaks for itself. I mean, what could be a better, I don't know, what could be better than working with kids who want to write and create music?
Yeah. Sign up if you're thinking about it. Make
Yes.
we have so many cool songs that need writers and musicians. So sign up.
Oh, yes, yeah, if you're a musician watching this or a composer or you know musicians who would want to be involved, definitely you can reach out to Hear Your Song or me or Sophia and we can connect you. And if you're a parent and you have a child who might be interested in this, you can reach out too.
Yeah. Everything's on our website. You can sign up, hearyoursong.org/connect, more specifically. But hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful Friday, a wonderful weekend. Sophia, Alice, thank you both so much for talking with me.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you both again, or thank you all again for listening. Again, we are Hear Your Song. You can learn more about us at hearyoursong.org, and you can follow us at Hear Your Song HYS. We worked with over 100 kids this summer, which is unprecedented for Hear Your Song, and we are so excited to be releasing all of those songs very, very soon. So you can check out our YouTube channel and our Instagram for more information. We also just released an exciting new project, a 8-minute musical written by one of our kids, Zippy, that features original cast members from The Lion King and Dear Evan Hansen. So you can go to our Instagram to check that out. And yes, hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you for tuning into this Hear Your Song Live, and